Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, the chart today is pretty much just moving sideways. We will talk about the microstructure here. In the last video, I also covered the daily chart and I think Bitcoin dominance, or was that yesterday? I think, well, we covered in one of the last videos the Bitcoin dominance chart. But in this video, I just want to tell you about the latest developments and what we need to be focusing on the weekend. The focus hasn't really shifted, so still the same things are important. There haven't really been any noteworthy developments today. However, the altcoin sector is again selling off. I don't want to say money is flowing back into Bitcoin, because it's not, but Bitcoin is dropping really far less. There hasn't really been any noticeable dip today. Actually, it's barely down for the day, just a little bit, Bitcoin, yeah. But you see it, Bitcoin is down like 1% max. At least it shows 0.8% here at the moment. And then we have in my watch list here at least, coins down like between 5 and 10%. Yeah, this is the altcoin sector. Still weak. That means, and we might have want to maybe take a quick look at it, right? Bitcoin dominance is still rising. Okay, still rising. But that doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go up. If Bitcoin stays stable and Bitcoin dominance is going up, then it means that it's not great for the altcoins. So we haven't broken out of this channel yet. While I talk to you about the rejection that we've seen from the resistance on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we haven't broken below a critical swing low, and we also haven't broken below a trend line. So the local trend from the December low seems to be up still, but we have some overlaps. And it seems to go for maybe one more high. I mean, at the moment, all we can see is, yep, we had a rejection. Can we form another high? I mean, it's still forming overall higher highs and higher lows. We haven't broken below the trend line. But if we now break below that previous low that formed at 58.1%, break below the trend line with that as well, that would be, I think, the next best evidence we can get that a local top has formed on the Bitcoin dominance chart for now. Wow, I mean, going up. And Bitcoin itself just moving sideways while the altcoins are selling off. People often ask about that relationship between Bitcoin and the altcoins. I mean, sometimes people say they are only doing what Bitcoin is doing. That's clearly not the case. I mean, just look at Bitcoin dominance, right? It goes up and down. It depends on what Bitcoin dominance does to a degree. And then we're only talking about the altcoin sector in general and not about specific charts. So the move down from the high in December looks a bit more like a three-wave move down these days. So now, I mean, you can call it a five-wave move down, but it looks actually more like three. Because what I can say is, for example, we had wave 1, wave 2 here in orange. And then in wave 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this it could now be a fourth wave. And if we now form another low, so with another low, it would be 5 waves down, but it wouldn't change the overall scenario. It would just mean it gets another downside extension. It wouldn't be super bearish. I mean, we're already looking at this, we already understand this as a wave 4 overall. Yeah. And in the orange scenario, the wave 4 could be an A, B, C structure, and this C wave might just need another low. That's possible. Or we are forming a wider wave 4. That's also possible, where we say this is an A wave and now we're forming a larger B before we go down in wave C. And then the wave 4 would be here. But overall, I still see the current correction as part of an overall uptrend. The main question is at the moment, how deep is this pullback going to be? And I recognized that the low could already be in, at least in an A wave. That's what we saw. I mean, that's been the message from the last video. We broke above resistance and the trend line, not a sustained break, but we broke above. So because of that and the potential that this is actually looking more like a micro 5-wave move up, I've added support. So all we have here is a micro support area that if the price can hold above it, actually could indicate that we get at least one more high before the next pullback starts. Yeah? I mean, essentially, to keep it very simple, the 93,738 level there, which is the 78.6 retracement, is the pivot between one more low and a larger bounce and that larger bounce might turn into a 3-wave move or maybe even a 5-wave move. If we get 5 waves up, it's again more bullish. We have to be flexible here. But what I'm watching for now, and we don't want to make it too complicated, what I'm watching for now is just a possible reaction to micro support. If it happens, then resistance is to be found at 101,871 and 104,668 next. So we'll see. Not much going on today, so there is really not much more to say at the moment. And yeah, and overall the focus really just needs to be on this micro support area now. Okay, the price has reached it already. If we go to the 30-minute chart, then we see a little bit more detail. And if I had to give you my preferred pathway here, if we're coming down in a correction, this might be like A, B, and then 5 waves down in C. I mean, this would be textbook and then higher, but we'll see if it does that. Some altcoins are showing a similar wave count, but they have actually dipped much more. Okay, so like Solana, I think even reached that 78.6 Fib level already, or maybe even breaking below it. But again, not every coin is doing what Bitcoin is doing. That's often a misconception, because if they all were doing that, they would currently be holding above the 38.2 retracement, and they're just not. So yeah, what can I say? Not much going on the Bitcoin chart. Support is relevant on the shorter time frame, and this is anyway only interesting for those who are looking really at the shorter time frame patterns and structures and charts. The daily chart hasn't changed at all. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.